Thank you for joining me. This is the Spiritual Princess, and today I wanted to go over some questions that I've gotten from people and the answers from my spirit guides, the angels, the highest vibrational beings that I work with. And because as a medium and a psychic development coach, I understand that we are curious and we want to know the answers to some of life's most challenging questions. The responses that I get are obviously from a higher source, and I believe that helps all of us advance in our spiritual journey. And when it comes down to it, most of the questions are what every person thinks about at one time or another. And being a medium, of course, I tap into the guides, angels, and get those answers. My spiritual team has taught me everything I needed to know on how to develop my mediumship training. And my goal is to pass what I've learned on to the world so others understand what it takes if they are called to expand their abilities the same way I did. So I believe the questions and answers will benefit any psychic medium or beginner or even an advanced reader as they continue to delve deeper into their spiritual path. So if that is something that would interest you, please continue listening, and we're going to start right now with the first question. The question was, where is the spirit world? So my guide said it's a dimension where the living can connect using a medium, the same way as how they connect to the internet. You just have to plug into another space and time to access it. The second question was, do mediums call the spirits to them? My guide said, not really. Mediums cannot demand spirits to show up. They can only create a sacred space that allows a connection to be made. It's not like a 1-800 dial the dead. When they want to come through, the spirit's choice is always up to them if they want to help their struggling loved ones. Mediums have no control over which relative will show up. And I often tell people, if I do give a reading, which I rarely do, but if I do, I immediately tell people I have no control. This is their process. It's not mine. So, the next question is, I tell people that I'm not afraid to die, but I'm afraid of how I will die. I don't want to be eaten by a lion, and I wish to go to heaven so I can be surrounded by the animals. My guides said, you've probably had many lifetimes by now, and you have died in different ways that you don't remember. Sometimes those deaths could be a tragic death, and some could have been natural causes. The only one thing to remember about death is that it is a natural part of your existence here, and it is easy to let go and transcend the journey forward. The hard part is living a stressful life. Death is the easy part, and it's never something to fear. When you go to the other side, or some call it heaven, you can connect with any of the animals you wish, and you will understand why they had an important role when they were living. You can spend as much time with them as you want, and they like it. So please understand that you cannot reach out and pet them as you do on Earth. You merge your energy with theirs. And once you do, there's a mutual understanding of one another. On Earth, everything is solid, but on the other side, everything is energy. You can put your hand on animals or touch a building, but you know it's not solid like everything is on Earth. And that's tough for most people to grasp after they have passed on. But you can get the sensation of hugging someone, but really it's just a merging of your energies. They can feel your emotions the same way you can feel theirs. You can't do that on earth unless you have empathic abilities, and even that ability isn't as strong as it is on the other side. The next question is, I've witnessed through readings or books that most people who have died have to relearn or reflect on things they did wrong in their lifetime. If this is true, it cannot be that way for everyone, because sometimes they are as mean in death as they were in life. Why do some people change their way of thinking after death and some don't? My guide says all souls that transcend will experience a life review after showing how they behaved while living. Most souls feel terrible about how they treated others while they were alive. They decided how they could have handled people or situations better, but it's not like the soul is being judged. The soul is judging themselves for how they behaved. Suppose a soul hasn't gone to the other side. That indicates that they haven't transitioned to a higher vibrational realm. In that case, they can continue with the same negative beliefs, which means they will come through as the same person, like a mean person, when living. Once they do go to the other side, the soul understands how they were wrong, and they will be more apologetic instead of being mean or hateful. The next question was from a lady, and she said, I could never have babies due to medical reasons, and I wonder why God chooses some of us to have babies while not others. So this is what my guide said about having children. And this hits home to me because I've lost a child. And so this is what they said. Having children has nothing to do with God allowing someone to have that in their life. Most of the time it has to do with a medical reason that the person has no control over, and therefore should not be something negative toward that person. There are many ways to be a mother or a parent other than birthing a child. Some people are parents to just their pets, and some people will foster or adopt children for the experience of parenthood. Of course, some people should not have children, but they do, and the child or children are abused mentally, physically, verbally, neglected, or much worse. Those children usually grow up having mental problems, and they struggle their entire lives with anger issues or resentment. And that is incredibly sad, because children are a gift and teach many lessons to the people around them as they grow up. The same goes for having pets. They love unconditionally, they bring happiness and teach many lessons while you have them in your life. The next question is, I want to know why miscarriages happen and whether the same soul returns. There are many reasons why this can happen, my guide said. First, and most commonly, a miscarriage will happen if something is not developing right in the body. The miscarriage is nature's way of knowing when something is wrong, so it stops developing, causing a pregnancy loss, usually in the early stages. Many women have a hard time understanding this is a natural occurrence, and of course they blame themselves, but it has nothing to do with them. Other miscarriages happen further along in a pregnancy, where the fetus suddenly dies for no reason. Other medical reasons within the body usually cause this, but we mostly see this when a spirit is not ready to come to earth and they back out of the mission. It's devastating to the family involved. They grieve the loss as if the child had been born and passed away. Again, this usually has nothing to do with the woman doing anything wrong. The souls who leave suddenly do have the choice to come back later or not at all. If they choose to stay on the other side, a new soul will take its place and come when the time is right. Generally, soul groups will stay together, and a soul group is a group of spirits created together with a special bond, and they are similar, so they tend to understand one another pretty profoundly. These groups can be big or small, but they will try and have many lifetimes together because they want to teach many life lessons. When you have difficult family members, they are meant to teach you something. but sometimes because the soul isn't evolved, maybe like you are, they are younger souls with a lot more to learn. And these spirits are complicated to deal with, and you cannot feel guilty for wanting to get away from them, but just remember they are here for a reason, just like you. If they are toxic and abusive people, of course you have the right to get away from them to have a happier life. That is your right and your choice. But you also need to teach them tough lessons in showing them that you are strong and will not allow them to take your power or happiness. Okay, next question. Does every person have a guardian angel? My guides say, yes, everyone has angels assigned to watch over them while living. Despite this, everyone needs to believe in them and ask for their help when needed. So if you do not believe in angels, they are not as strong because it's more difficult for them to get through to you, for you to hear them or feel their presence. If people are not open to it, they shut themselves down to the guidance from an angel, a guide, even a loved one that's trying to communicate. The next question is, I would like to know if someone on the other side is waiting for everyone when they pass away. What happens if you do not talk to your family, or have a small family, or nobody shows up for you? My guide's answer was yes, there are friends, family, guides, and angels that will be there for anyone at the time of their death. It's still up to the person if they are ready to cross over with the other souls, but they usually do. And death is a positive experience for most everyone, especially if the person is ready and has learned what they came here to learn on this planet. If you are a spiritual person and you understand that making the transition is a natural part of your journey, then death becomes an extremely positive experience. The people who struggle are the ones who are taught incorrectly and have inaccurate beliefs about the afterlife. Some people who are extremely attached to a location or other people, they have a tough time transitioning because they cannot let go of their earthly possessions or their family. And these are souls that mediums are responsible for helping most often. Letting them believe they can stick around is never okay. If they are not bothering anyone, I hate when I watch this on paranormal shows. People say, oh, they're not doing anything, they can stay. No. My guide said that is not helpful to them, and they need to transition as part of their journey forward no matter what. If they want another life, they can have it, but they need to go to the other side, so their angelic teams will help them prepare for another life. If they stick around, they will become bitter, angry, because different people will move in and out of their space. Some spirits might like certain people in their space, but then they won't like others later on. So that spirit can act out in bad ways. So for me as a medium, we have to help cross over any spirit, even if attached to the person or a place. Of course, I tell them, and my guides help me tell them this, they can come back and visit after they go to the other side, but they still need to go. I cannot stress this enough, that it's never okay to leave spirits alone in a location. You have to make them leave. And sometimes it takes many tries, but they will leave if you show them kindness, compassion, and understanding. Make them understand it's for the best, and you are only there to help them, not to hurt them or disrespect them in any way. Explain that it's part of their journey and make them aware that they will be allowed to come back and visit or check up on people and places they love. They will be more willing to listen and cross over to the other side. And something that I want to add, this is not from my guides or anything, but I keep seeing classes pop up all over. They're like psychic classes, and I also teach psychic development. But people out on meetup groups and stuff will just post, oh, we're having a class on how to cross spirits over, and say they're charging you $40-$50, okay? One thing I need people to understand, once you start that process, of crossing spirits over or learning how to do it, you can never stop, because everywhere you go, doesn't matter if you go to the grocery store, doesn't matter where you go, a vacation, anywhere, spirits are going to follow you. They're going to follow you because they know you can help them. And what happens when you ignore them, they create chaos, and that's when people get scared, because they can mess with your electrical stuff, they can throw things, they can really get your attention, because they want help. So that's a whole nother video I've done, but I just want to kind of put that out there for anybody who wants to take a class. It's a life of service, and you better be prepared to at least do it once a month. You may not know there's spirits waiting, but eventually they will make themselves known to you. So I just wanted to cover that. Let's go on to the next question. So the next question is, I would love to know more about past lives, crystals, the different realms like the angel realm, and more about the current awakening that has been taking place. My guide said, the realm for angels is the same as the other side, but they have a different type of communication. Angels watch over people, unlike a guide would. They can hear the call from the living when needed, so they go to them when called. Guides are always present in your life, where angels can come and go. Angels are sent from God to help the living because life is difficult for a lot of people. Angels can sometimes take human form if needed to protect somebody, but this usually happens when called upon by a person who's struggling, or a friend or a family member. The angel will try to help solve problems or provide protection, but it depends on what's being asked of them. They are constantly busy, and many stay earthbound to help someone in need. And when I say earthbound, I mean they come down to your level so they can jump into action quickly, but they do not live on earth the way we do. They might be close by someone experiencing like a life or death situation, especially if the person has been praying for the help. The next question is, angel encounters life-saving, or are they there to protect? How does it work? My guides say angels are there for those that believe in their miracle, and they will be there to protect or help, but it depends on what the person needs. Again, if the person has little faith or belief in them, angels don't usually try to make a connection to help, because they know the person isn't open to it. The next question is, do we reincarnate continuously by our own choice, or does God decree it? My guide says you reincarnate as the soul is ready. It's your choice and not forced upon you by anyone or anything. Okay, so the next question, and I'm probably going to butcher her name, but it says the question was, according to Lorna Byrne, reincarnation is extremely rare. What can you tell me? So I'm not sure who this author is or person, but my guide said reincarnation is not rare, as it happens when souls are ready. So it isn't rare. That was their question. The next question is, do our souls inhabit other planets in other forms? Are we humans put on Earth deliberately or helped here by some other being so that we could contain souls? Why do our human species stand out from other species? Well, that's an interesting question. My guide said, yes, we can inhabit other planets that sustain life forms, but that's your choice if you want to go somewhere other than Earth. Earth is where you learn the most, so most spirits want to come to Earth many times. People evolved on Earth from other species, and humans have become what they are today. You will keep evolving until you are all enlightened beings living in a peace and harmony as intended. Consider how the ancient people were hairy, and their appearance changed as they moved into new territories. Humans do the same, changing to match their environments. Therefore, nobody should judge another person's appearance, because as humans developed, they had to change depending on where they lived in the world. Animals do not all look the same or behave the same, and neither do human beings. Some people are more aggressive than others based on where they live life, and it has been that way for thousands of years. So judging another on their appearance is nonsense because they had no control over it. Ancestors usually had a choice based on where they choose to live, which carried forward to many generations and will continue to change. You can see some of it in today's generations. People's looks are changing from how their ancestors' appearance used to be. Like the skin and hair colors are transforming, and it will only continue. My guides say to hate someone for the color of their skin is wrong. It is like saying people hate zebras because it does not look exactly like a horse. A zebra has to be different because it comes from another part of the world where a zebra's stripes are useful in hiding from predators. Okay, next question is, when we get to the other side, are we a certain age? My guide said it depends on how you want to be seen. If you passed before you were old, you might still be growing on the other side just for the experience. If you have lived a full life when you transition, you would be at an age you felt the healthiest. Most people choose their late 20s to early 30s, but it depends on what you want for yourself. And I have seen that when I have encountered my loved ones. They look much younger. They have like this beautiful ethereal glow to their skin. It's so amazing, but they usually do come back as younger. Seems to be around the age of 30, maybe 35. So I love that question. Next question, if my loved one has passed and is on the other side and they decide to come back for another life, does that mean I'm talking to a loved one who cannot hear me or visit me? So that's a good question. My guide said souls will usually wait until everyone from their soul group has reunited before choosing another life. That is because the same soul group will usually reincarnate again, and each of them will have a different role to play. On the other side, there is no sense of time like on Earth, so they don't have to wait long for everybody to be reunited. There are circumstances when a young soul has died unexpectedly. They can return, but they generally stay with the same soul group. That's why some people swear that a new baby or a child has the personality traits of someone they knew that had passed away. It could be the same soul returning, but it's pretty rare. Okay, so another question is, do you believe that past life regression is real, or do people make up a story while relaxed? I once had a past life regression, and I still question myself. So for those who don't know what a regression is, it's basically when you go see somebody who can hypnotize you, a hypnotherapist, and they take you back into where you can see your past lives. Okay, so that's what a past life regression is. Sometimes you can be dreaming of something around a certain age. I know it's happened to me. It's happened to my son. And I always say, oh gosh, that must be a past life. But you can actually go into hypnotherapy and relive that. So that's why the person's saying, I had a past life regression and I'm questioning myself. This is what my guide said. When people are in a meditative state and open to hypnosis, they will remember another lifetime and recall things that might be affecting them in this life. The problem with regression is that it's tough for people to recognize that they are seeing a glimpse or experiencing certain emotions connected to a previous life in that state of hypnosis. To some, it feels more like a dream, or it can feel like they're somehow making this up in their mind, but you're not. You would not see certain details in hypnosis unless you are meant to learn something from it. Generally, these details are traumatic occurrences from past lives that the soul has not fully worked through. and they might have reoccurring dreams or nightmares about them. Hypnosis can help someone safely relive it so they can fully release the fears or emotions connected to the past life. Past life regressions can be incredibly helpful if done with a certified professional. They need to be able to help the person feel safe and explain to them how to release the experience. Otherwise, things could actually get worse and cause more fear for that person. I've had to help my son with this. When he got to be around the age of 25, he started getting real paranoid about things he ate, thinking somebody was going to poison him. He would really look at spices in a different manner. And so I had to get to the bottom of that. And we realized it was a past life. And he said he even dreamt about it. He was in China and he ate something that was on a spoon and he died. So either he was allergic to it or somebody poisoned him. So anyway, he has worked through it now. But this happens to people all the time. And it can happen more than once in your lifetime. You can suddenly have a phobia that you never had before, and you don't understand why. So I just wanted to explain a little bit about that. It goes into the next question a little bit. I want to know how to heal, let go of the past, and quit carrying painful experiences from each life to the next. How do you clean the slate, so to speak? My guide said, there are tough lessons to learn while with your soul group every lifetime. Some past life lessons can repeat in current lifetimes. The circumstances will be the same, and you may strongly sense that something might be repeating with a certain person. It's a good time to reflect and ask yourself or your guides why something is happening and if it happened before. Past life regression, that's where it can be helpful if you want to learn tools to face it and let it go. Once you understand its reason, it's easier to let go so it doesn't repeat. Again, a good hypnotherapist can guide you through the process because it can be overwhelming and emotional, and many phobias people have are due to a tragic event that happened to them in a previous lifetime. Okay guys, so I'm going to leave that there and continue with part 2 in a different video. So if you want to hear more questions and answers by my guides, then continue to video number 2. Thanks. Have a great day. Love and light.